I don't.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to welcome you all to the Public Facility Committee meeting for September 18th. Our first item on the agenda for today is the approval of the minutes from the August 14th, 2023 meeting.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Scott and Ms. Parker. And all in favor?
Aye.
And the minutes are approved.
Yes.
Our next item is the privilege of the floor. Did we have anybody that contacted you?
Just close the door, John. Close the door.
Okay, since no one is here to speak, we'll move on to our first proposed resolution, which is to authorize purchase of real property in the town of Chautauqua. Oh, so that's interesting. Oh, good.
Color.
Nothing but
Color
the
maps.
Hey,
Thank you.
maps.
Bring the crayons.
Thank you.
Big area to color in right here.
Yeah. That's where you put your notes.
It's like a pennant.
I'm Tom Walsh, Director of the South and Center Stock Lake Sewer District, and here in regards to purchasing property in the town of Chautauqua. What you're looking for you is the outline in blue of the West Side Sewer Extension Phase 2. Currently, we're about 75 to 80% completion of design. In the design, the pump station that you're looking at is part of the main trunk pump station that will be utilized on the north end of Phase 2. The arrow is directly relates to where the property is near the Magnolia Cemetery in that area. The engineers picked this property as an ideal place for a pump station. We then approached the property owner as for a sale, and with respect to what she had been doing her homework and knew exactly what we were proposing and where she'd been to all the public meetings, and she was familiar with it. In the picture you see below that, that is actually the Hadley Bay pump station that is currently online in Phase 1. And that is very similar what will be built in the proposed property that we're looking at. So in the purchase of it, the price is $7,500 for that property.
Where'd that come from?
We approached her
Mhm.
and asked her offer, and she gave us an offer. We countered with $7,500, and she accepted that.
So you got her down from 25.
She wasn't quite at 25, but she was a little bit north of the 75. She was around $9,500.
That was my question. Was this a negotiated price?
It was negotiated.
Thank
She
you.
asked for 95, and she's going to look at it. She wanted to be compensated.
Sure.
And that property's been in her family since 1968. Something special to her, and that was her price.
It's good to get a spot.
Yeah.
Kind of the spot we wanted.
It is the location. So yeah, it worked out very well.
Engineers figured that's the spot, huh?
Yep.
Okay.
Both parties are happy. It sounds good.
Yep.
Any questions from the committee concerning this?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
there was a typo in the version that was pre-filed.
Oh,
I did correct that change, but in the fifth whereas clause, the date should be changed to October 25th, 2017. I just want to let you know that I did go ahead and make that correction.
Back to the future.
oh, there's notes. Very good. All right. And we can treat that as a typo.
Sure.
Okay. That sounds real good. Okay. Then with that typo corrected, are there any further discussion or any questions on this? Hearing none. All in favor of the proposed resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? And the resolution carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, Tom.
For the record, that was not Tom's typo, that was mine, and it was a test for you all, and it was passed.
It was a test. It was a test.
I circled it, but I didn't ask the question. So nice try.
Just to keep us on our toes. Okay.
No, I appreciate it.
All right. Our next proposed resolution is to authorize agreement with County of Cattaraugus to extend the term of the Conowingo Watershed Commission.
Good afternoon. Drew Rogers, Deputy Director of Public Facilities Engineering.
Tim Carr, Director of Public Facilities.
This resolution is to continue the agreement with Cattaraugus County and extend the term of the Conowingo Watershed Commission. The Conowingo Watershed Commission is responsible for the operation and maintenance of the flood control structures in the Conowingo watershed. It was part of the Conowingo Watershed Work Plan dating back to the late 60s, early 70s. And every 5 years, we extend this term to continue that relationship.
Very good. That's pretty important in that area to do the maintenance on those structures. Any questions on this resolution from the committee?
There's that $7,500 again.
Is that it must be a,
It is.
Actually,
yeah.
that's what, after I did the first one and then got to this one and saw the 7,500 again, I'm thinking, is there something I don't know about $7,500?
Somebody's lucky number.
Yeah, I guess.
Did you say when that was first established, that agreement? long ago?
There was an agreement in 1968 and then another agreement in 1973 for the establishment of the commission.
Great.
okay. Any other questions? Any other discussion? All right. Hearing none, all in favor of the proposed resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? The resolution carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next proposed resolution is to amend the 2023 budget for tenant work for jury room alterations in the Chautauqua County Courthouse.
Josh Rothwell for $7,500.
No,
Is it the same?
Assistant Deputy Director of Public Facilities. Good afternoon. This here, what we have is it's paid for by the state courts. They reimburse the county for the money. They added another employee. We did a little renovation to an office over in the jury assembly room area. And this just switches the accounts so we can pay the contractor for the work. It's already been completed. And it is reimbursed
It's
from
all,
the state.
it's all,
Yeah, they budget for it, and then we just a transfer of funds.
this was a project that got done for the price that it was supposed to get done for, didn't go over or anything.
Yep. No,
Wow.
right on.
That sounds good. Any questions from the committee on this project or this resolution?
Mr. Chairman, actually, if I could interject really quickly, there's a little typo on there that I'm going to have you correct.
Oh, good. All right.
The very first establish and increase appropriation, you can cross out establish and. It's already established, it just needs to be increased.
Oh.
Nothing major.
Okay, that's real easy. Again, a typo that we can just consider a typo and move right along? Okay. Everyone heard that, and is there any further discussion on this resolution? Hearing none, all in favor of the proposed resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the resolution carries. Our next proposed resolution is to amend the 2023 budget to implement the Jurassic Office Building Carpet Tiles Project using funding from the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA.
This project was brought to the ARPA committee to more or less finish the carpet tiles here in the GOB. When we originally did the project and looked at it, it was more, we call it a walk-off carpet tile project, meaning that from where you walked in off the streets through the court security entrance and then immediately off the elevators is where we put the carpet down. And now we're just trying to get a more complete uniform look. It kind of looks like it wasn't finished or wasn't thought through. And it's just going to add to the safety of the buildings and trip hazards. And those floors get slippery when they're wet. So we're just going to complete what you see not done with carpet in the hallways. And that's with the use of ARPA funding also.
Was the original tiling ARPA funding too?
Yes. Yeah, the whole project.
How much? I have a question.
Yes, Mr.
How
Scott.
much, before we spend all this money, how much is left in the ARPA?
I believe all of the ARPA funding is currently committed.
It's all committed
I believe so, yes,
after this,
including this, yes.
including this. Not after
Yes.
this, including this. Okay,
Yes.
all right. Thank you.
It's all committed, it's not all spent, right?
Correct.
It's just all committed. Okay. Any other questions? All in favor of the proposed project, proposed resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Our next proposed resolution is to adjust the capital project accounts road machinery.
Drew Rogers, Deputy Director of Public Facilities Engineering. We had a project at the Sheridan shop to make some upgrades to the fuel system based on a compliance review from DEC. Those upgrades were made and they weren't as extensive in scope and cost as what was anticipated. So there was excess money left in the account. We'd like to do this resolution to close that account and transfer that money to the Sherman Fuel System Project. We opened bids on that and the bids came in about $13,000 over budget. But we got really good pricing considering what we have gotten when we've put it out to bid previously. So we'd like to transfer that money so we can push forward with the Sherman Fuel Project.
The bids were 13,000 over, so there's plenty.
Yeah, so there should be some room there if we run into some unexpected
okay.
issues. There is some work that we were doing in-house as well, so there'll be a little bit of material cost in there. But that gives us, if something unexpected comes up, we should then be covered there.
But if not, we'll be seeing
You'll be seeing
those
me
funds
again.
back.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Glad we are able to make up that shortfall.
Drew, I think I probably asked this before, these upgrades, how long, what are we looking at? 10 years, 20 years?
The tanks have a life expectancy anywhere from 20 to 30 years.
Okay.
So properly maintained, they can go beyond that too.
And the assumption, Drew, would be that the upgrades to the Sherman Fuel Shop now would put it into compliance as well? Just
Yes.
as, okay.
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
So when you're saying upgrades, are these tank replacements or refurbishings? or-
Sherman Fuel will be a full replacement.
Oh, okay, all right.
It's underground now.
Yeah.
It'll be above ground.
Oh, okay.
New pumps.
Why? Cheaper? Better? Why we gone from underground to above?
The underground, you have to have a special certification to be able to monitor and review the tanks. The above ground is a visual inspection that can be done on a regular basis.
Mhm.
So once we remove them from underground, are we deemed good with that ground, or do we have, is that a DEC?
There'll be
plus
testing once we remove
So
the
once
tanks.
they're out, the tank removal, you have to be approved. I mean, I assume. what was
Yeah, the
there-
ground will have to be tested, and once that's done, we'll be good. We have no signs of any issues there currently. They're fiberglass tanks. They're roughly 25 to 30 years in that range.
With the above ground tanks, you can also have a containment
Correct.
type system, so
Mhm.
that even if they leak, you control it.
Right. You can see it and you can control it.
So I guess just to hear it, so once we do the below ground and have it tested and pull it up, then we have an all clear to that area.
Right.
Okay, any further questions or discussion on this one?
Mhm.
All in favor of the proposed resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Okay. Moving along. We have next resolution is to authorize the agreement for purchase and removal of county-owned timber from the Dinsbury landfill property on Dinsbury Road in the town of Chautauqua.
So the property on Dinsbury Road is a former landfill property and is also identified as reforestation parcel number 11. As part of the county reforestation plan, we have a forest consultant go through and review the properties and determine when they're ready to be harvested for timber sale. And this property was recently identified, was put out for bid, and we received the high bid of $111,570. We're looking for approval with this resolution to go ahead with that sale of timber. And that revenue goes into the Parks Capital Project account.
Very good.
So when you say reforestation, it was planted and grown in anticipation of reforesting for this purpose, or not necessarily?
Many of the properties are where we go through selected timber harvests.
And that's kind of what this is.
Yeah, that's what this is. And then this will be left alone for many years to come. And then another property will be highlighted and they stay forever forest. And
So someone was telling me that we have a lot more forests than we had like 50 years ago, and a lot more farms. Do you know that? I mean, I know that's a random question.
Yeah.
I just thought that was interesting. Yeah, okay.
That being the case, the timber wouldn't be mature at this point if it were 50 years
I'm not
old.
talking about to cut down, I'm just talking about, you know, yeah,
Mhm.
just like maybe what we're dealing with is something different. Yeah.
Did that 111,000, did they give how they come up with that? Did they do a tree count? Do they give you a board foot count?
our consultant marks out the trees that they feel are ready to be harvested. and come up with the estimate of board feet. And then the bidders go review the property and come up with I think they come up with a rate per foot.
Okay.
And then this is where it comes up to.
So did the bidders then necessarily they have to agree with the consultant? Yes, or
Yeah,
be
the-
approximately close.
Yeah, the consultant will advise us whether it's market value, good to go forward
Yeah.
with, or
Yeah.
advised to not do it.
And you said this was a former landfill of ours.
It was a former landfill property. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Does this, are these prices, are the lumber prices at a pretty good,
From what I understand, this was a good price.
very good. Get some money into the parks capital budget. Yep, that sounds good. Okay, any other questions on this one? All in favor of the proposed resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? The resolution carries.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thanks,
thank you. All right, that completes all the resolutions that we have on our agenda this evening. Is there anything under other? Does anyone have anything to?
I have something under other.
Okay.
I've been asked to bring this concern to the floor by several legislators. I understand that the discussion of negotiation of a new lease is not permissible. I wanted to say that Shannon Barnhart deserves a lot of credit for her vision, her hard work and experience as the Chautauqua County Manager of Airports. And thank you also to her, to Ms. Barnhart, the County Airport Commission, County Executive Wendell, Legislator Wilfong, County Attorney Slagle, and the legislature for the approval in October 2022 of the reopening and new lease of the unused airport restaurant facilities. The legislature voted, and I have to say Bob Scudder was really excited about this idea. I don't know if you remember
No,
that.
I still am.
Yeah, so he made an actual comment about how this was actually going to be making some money for the county. So the legislature voted, and this is public record, for the county executive to enter a lease with the owner of Double D Catering, Diana Scott, for the operation of a catering business, grab and go, cafe, gift shop, private parties, and special events. Ms. Scott and her associates put in an incredible, for any of you who have been there to the airport and to the restaurant, an incredible, a remarkable amount of work and money, which resulted in a transformation from a space in disrepair to a beautifully decorated airport restaurant facility. This space can and is being used for events, boutique, theme parties, specialty classes, breakfast for the sports team, the Jamestown Jackals, and civic meetings that showcase the airport, whether it is opened in the future to commercial air service or not. Unfortunately, it does not have any, or has very minimal foot traffic. Just over 6 months since the grand opening, legislators now have been informed that this space that is now occupied by Double D Catering could easily shut their doors. I can't imagine that this closure could be a good thing for anyone, for the county, or for the owner of Double D Catering. This space would not be in its beautiful condition without Ms. Scott's vision, talent, and hard work. It would not have been presented to the legislature without the forward thinking of Shannon Barnhart, County Executive Wendell, and the Airport Commission. So we know what Plan A looks like. Plan A is we have an existing space that has been completely transformed and is being used for events, for civic meeting and other meetings, for private parties, for open houses, fundraisers. That's what Plan A is. So I am wondering, do we need a Plan B? And I am also wondering, what would Plan B if this were to close?
If the current restaurant were to close,
Well,
or maybe we have. It just so happens, yes, please come up.
can I ask a question?
It just so happens that we have some help with this question.
Okay. So my question is this a discussion or is this you can we ask questions?
We're here to
I
answer
know, I just
questions
wanna make
that
sure.
are,
Okay, cool.
I guess, things that are available to the public.
Correct, yes.
Yes. Okay, awesome. Do you have
Same
anything?
question?
Well, the question really is, I mean, I was among some other legislators were invited, and I think other people have been to the restaurant, which is, I think, which is a creditable space. And I actually talked to legislator Hemmer, and he had seen it beforehand in the middle of doing it and at the end. And it's really, and I'm sure you've seen it. And so it's really, and I know you've been there, but I don't, I don't know. I don't think it gets a lot of customers, but it has the ability to be an amazing space, as I described. But so my question is really, how do you go from, how would you come up with a plan B that would be profitable and as worthwhile to the county, more importantly than the individual, although the individual put in quite a bit of work, which I don't know, and money. But that's my question is, so how do you make a plan B that's going to be as profitable? I mean, Bob, you said you were still kind of
No, I was kind of being funny.
you were being,
I was being me.
so he said he was still excited. I mean, it's an exciting place.
I'm excited about, if I may,
Yes.
we have a tenant, $500 a month. We have an empty space at the airport, generating $0 a month. Now we have someone willing to come in and give us $500 a month for that space.
Mhm.
That's sort of my excitement
Yeah,
level.
because it's,
Now, with that being said, it also needs to be recognized. Let me make sure they hear this.
okay, are you listening?
It also has to be recognized that we did participate in some of the renovation of the kitchen and the equipment. And
Yes,
I
I'm
am
aware
somewhat
of that.
familiar with that industry and putting that equipment and everything in.
Yeah.
And to the point that, and I'm just going to use round numbers, that we almost probably put in as much as we were going to take in rent in a year in equipment investment.
Okay.
So while everything's good and everything's great, my excitement is we're getting, and I don't mean I wish the best of circumstances for anybody that rented it, but I would have a concern if we participate in the success of an individual renting a space from us, other than giving them that space. They know the I don't know what the term is, demographic. They know what's going on. If it was me going in there, I would have studied foot traffic, all that kind of stuff. And then you make your determination if you want to invest your time, energy, effort into it. So, I mean, I'm all for it being there and I'm all for it being successful. I'm all for the airport being successful. I'd have a concern if we started to participate in the success of it, other than we've provided the airport. Does that make sense?
I think what you're saying is you don't want to take any particular kind of stand for a particular kind of, for a particular person who's running a business.
Well, yeah, I don't think that's our role to do.
No, I hear you.
We're not here to give up. It's not that we're not here to give an opportunity and everything, which I think we have done. I don't know what the square feet is, but a typical rent would probably, I'm just guessing, be higher than what this individual is paying.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure that's, if it was.
So I feel
yeah.
we're already participating the way we should participate. I'm just leery, and I don't even know what,
Okay,
I'm talking, I don't know where this is going or what we're doing, but I would be concerned to offer more participation than we're already doing.
yeah, I mean, as I said, I was asked, I got to be the person who is talking about this.
Oh, and
But I was
I'm all
definitely
about it. I'm
asked.
just,
I will say that we resolved last October to execute a lease agreement with Studio D Catering and at this payment of, so there was an agreement for a
Sure.
particular person. And I'm not trying, I guess, I'm trying to think about why I was asked to bring this forward. It's more like presenting information that is in favor of continuing what we already approved last October. And it does say, 6 months commencing, an extension will be subject to approval by the county legislature at a later date. And there's very specific things, but one of the specific things is that it is a catering business, grab-and-go cafe, gift shop, private parties, and special events. Of course, the county executive would be negotiating the particulars. And I don't want to get into that, but I was asked to. Okay, keep talking.
Yeah.
I was asked to do this. It's not just me. And I do really strongly feel that you've done an excellent job.
I guess if I just say one more thing.
Yeah.
For right now. If this was brought up and this was on the agenda and we were going to vote on it today to extend it for 12 more months at $500 a month, I would vote yes. If the vote was today and that was the situation. Now, I'm getting myself off the hook for tomorrow and what the situation might be. But if it was simply to extend the lease, I think I would say, yeah, let's go.
Yeah. So I guess what I was asked to do was actually bring information that kind of demonstrates what the original, which kind of demonstrates what is public knowledge, what we voted for, and also what transpired from the information that I have only. So, certainly, why don't you answer any questions or make comments?
If I could, I answer your email that, the general information can be kind of discussed a little bit, but really we're in the middle of a contract negotiations is really subject to executive session. I think we would bleed over into subject areas that we don't want to talk about openly in public because of ongoing negotiations. I would recommend that you would seek to go into executive session this time. We can provide a lot more detail and not worry about crossing that line as to what is public and what is private negotiations.
And if I said anything I shouldn't, I want to strike it from the record.
Something that should be corrected though is that it's Studio D Catering, not Double D Catering.
Oh,
So that's right. I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, I apologize. I
That's
think
okay.
that's double D. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
That would be subject to obviously a motion, a second, and a vote from this body if you want to go into executive session, and we could
Okay.
provide some greater detail. I think that may help answer your questions.
I'd like to make the motion to go into executive session to discuss particulars.
Thank you, Bob.
I second that.
And we have a second. All in favor of going into executive session for discussion of the restaurant lease?
I,
Opposed? Okay. We will be going into executive session, so I guess everybody is,
If you would, I'd ask that the
Excuse-
county executive be invited to the executive
Yes.
session to provide some information. What's that?
certainly.
And,
We're not conditioned.
Director of Public Facilities, Tim Card as well.
Okay, yes.